For loss of control, the issue is centered around diminished autonomy. So we should try to give people as much autonomy as possible, even if there are certain aspects of the change that are outside of our control or their control. Leaving space for people to make even small decisions is helpful. So for example, if you are implementing a new system and it needs to be adopted, you can offer several different ways for people to be trained, when they want to be trained and how they want to be trained. All right. Another way to combat loss of control is to invite people into the planning. This gives people a sense of ownership in the path forward and a vested interest in its success. A second reason for resistance has to do with surprise. People need time to get used to an idea and prepare for its consequences so that those decisions that are sprung on people will encourage greater, so that those, if it's sprung on them, they can feel a greater resistance, right? So what's the solution here for that surprise? If they do feel surprised, the best way to combat this is by over communicating. The solution here is to come down and communicate early and do it often. No one likes to be caught off guard, right? This is why it's critical to plant seeds early and communicate as much as possible, even when you don't have all the answers. Now, there will be some times that you'll be limited on the information you can share, but you should always tell people as much as you can, as soon as you can. It gives people time to acclimate and accept the idea, right? So the third is loss of face. So a new way of doing things can feel like a criticism of the old way, putting people on the defensive, right? How many of you guys have experienced this where new changes come down the pike and all of a sudden you feel like, was I doing everything wrong? Or maybe somebody on your team mentioned that, right? Just yesterday. So what are some ways that you can overcome resistance related to loss of face? Why don't please share some in the chat? Reassurance, maybe ask more questions. Show your appreciation. Yes, absolutely. I love that. Talk one-on-one rather than in groups. Yes, sometimes that one-on-one can break down barriers much better than being in a group, right? People tend to hide in groups and yep. Bake in sustain elements to the new process. I love that. Share feelings with leadership and ask for time to adjust. Yes, wonderful. So it's important to celebrate the valuable elements of the past while clearly explaining why a change is necessary for the future, right? We said this before. It is important for everyone to be able to know why that change is happening and unite behind that same vision. Thank you. Oh, I love it. Validate. I like that. Validate. So another resistance is concerns about competence. So when especially when new technologies are being introduced or a process is being introduced that people aren't familiar with, they may become concerned about their competence. They may wonder if they will be able to even do the change that's required of them, and they may be worried about if their skills are obsolete. And when people feel like they won't be able to keep up, they are much more likely to resist the change. So how do you think you can help people who are concerned about competence? What are the things that you can do in order to support them? Elevate their expertise. Be kind. I love that. Absolutely be kind. Yes, a lot of education. Encourage training, right? Give them space for that training. Anticipatory guidance. Educate and prepare. Absolutely, right? Share past experiences. Assure them that the resources will be available. Yes, I love it. Listen to understand not respond. Yes. Highlight what they have accomplished. I love that. Yes. So you're hitting on all of the high impact ways to mitigate this, right? So you want to build their confidence, provide abundant information, education, training, mentors, and support systems, and of course, provide them the support to be able to utilize those resources as well, right? It's one thing to provide all of these resources; it's another thing to actually give them the time and the space to utilize those resources that you're providing them. And then, of course, you want to provide some overlap between the old way and the new way as they're navigating that change, right? So the simple fact is that change takes work, and when extra work is heaped on an already full plate, it's not hard to imagine why people push back. And on top of that, some employees may encounter even more work as unexpected glitches happen amid that change, right? I'm sure many of you can think of a time where you were going through a change and it was supposed to save you a lot of time, but really doubled your work, right? So you've also got Cantor's Law working against you, which states that everything looks like a failure in the middle. Even with these realities, there are ways to overcome resistance related to that more work, right? I want you to consider this in the context of your specific change situation that you identified at the beginning of these sessions. So